Dear Secretary General of the Council of Europe, Maria Buric, dear President of the Parliamentary Assembly, Rick Daems, dear President of the Venice Commission, Gianni Buchicchio, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, benvenuti a Venezia. It is a pleasure and an honor to welcome you all to Venice and officially open the Conference of the Ministers of Justice of the Council of Europe on restorative justice. Despite all the difficulties we are facing in our countries concerning the pandemic, I am glad that such a relevant number of ministers and delegates were able to travel to Venice and attend in person, in presence, this conference. Today's event is the first ministerial conference under the Italian presidency, which started last 17th of November. I would like, at the beginning of my speech, to congratulate Hungary on their chairmanship that just ended and on the important conference that was held in Budapest at the beginning of last October. The Council of Europe is the construction where our justice system are guarded and fortified. Dialogue among nations and effective multilateralism have their home at the Council of Europe. We need to preserve this common home and to further strengthening the work of the Council of Europe based on the respect of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. Ministers and colleagues, allow me to get into the matter of our conference, the restorative justice, on a literary note. There are evergreen masterpieces of the human creativity that helps us to better understand the deepest core and the inner source of our mission. Please, if you can show the quote. I pray that discord, that insatiable evil, may never rage in this polis, may never seize greedily upon disasters on vengeance in the polis, disasters in which blood is shed in requital for blood. May the citizens share joy instead, in a disposition of mutual esteem. This literary quote is taken from the Eumenides, the last tragedy of the trilogy Oresteia by Aeschylus. It was written some 2,500 years ago. Conflict versus concord, revenge versus reconciliation. This is the dilemma that our systems are called to deal with today as they were at the origin of our civilization. Eumenides is an account for the transformation of justice, a double transformation of justice, from the primitive justice as revenge, represented by the Erinyes, monsters that bring about rage, devastation, and violence in the city of Athens, to justice as a process in front of a tribunal, the Areopagus, that was set up by goddess Athena, and again to justice as reconstruction of harmony and concord in the city, the Eumenides, the new name of the goddess of justice. From Erinyes to Eumenides, where the Greek prefix EU, Eumenides, stays for well, good. justice that used to be the equivalent of revenge and self-destruction becomes the guardian of the city welfare and peace. This is what restorative justice is about, the possibility of a justice system that tames the rage of violence and reconstructs civic bonds among citizens. Restorative justice is already an experience in many of our countries. This session of our discussion will be introduced by experts of restorative justice. Our debate will be supported by images taken from real experiences of restorative justice around the world, and during the dinner we will have a surprise from South Africa. But first of all, let's start our reflection from what has already been done within the context of the Council of Europe. We have a point of reference. We have recommendation number 8 of 2018. Moreover, restorative justice has been in our agenda thanks to an initiative of the government of Georgia during its chairmanship in May 2020, with a focus on fostering child participation and restorative justice. Let's recall the definition of restorative justice contained in the recommendation 2018, which is the point of reference of our debate. Le terme justice restaurative désigne tout processus permettant aux personnes qui ont subi un préjudice résultant d'une infraction et aux responsables de ces préjudices de participer activement, s'ils le consentent librement, au règlement des problèmes résultant de l'infraction, avec l'aide d'un tiers qualifié et impartial. La recommandation continue et dit que la justice restaurative prend souvent la forme d'un dialogue entre la victime et l'auteur de l'infraction, auquel peuvent aussi participer d'autres personnes touchées par cette infraction. La justice restaurative, continue encore le texte de la recommandation, peut être utilisée à chaque étape du processus de la justice pénale. La lecture de la recommandation du 2018 nous offre la possibilité d'une clarification préalable. La justice restaurative n'est pas un outil de clémence. Tous les systèmes juridiques de nos pays, même les plus sévères en matière pénale, connaissent des outils de clémence, comme la grâce ou les amnisties. Ces outils de clémence sont nécessaires, mais ici, avec la justice restaurative, nous ne sommes pas dans le domaine de la clémence, du pardon ou de la miséricorde. Il faut être clair à cet égard. La justice restaurative est une justice qui aide l'offenseur à assumer sa responsabilité vis-à-vis de la victime et vis-à-vis de la communauté à travers la rencontre et le dialogue. Vérité, responsabilité, rencontre, dialogue sont les mots qui font partie de la culture de la justice restaurative. What goals and objectives do we try to pursue? First, our societies are growing polarized and conflictual. We consider our responsibility to contribute to stop the escalation of conflict and hatred and violence for the common good. Second, we also want to prevent radicalization and promote desisting from crimes, diminishing recidivism. Third, furthermore, we find necessary to relieve the victims from the burden of trauma caused by a crime, whatever the crime is. Fourth, in our opinion, it is a duty of public institutions to provide and offer a second chance to the offenders, especially the young offenders, and to reintegrate them into social life. Fifth and finally, while implementing our policies on restorative justice, we believe we will contribute to spread the culture of conflict resolution and reconciliation for the benefit of all. Crime is not only about the infringement of a legal rule. It is first and foremost about tearing apart social relations. Relations at the center. This is the vision behind our discussion to restorative justice. In order to prepare this conference, a senior official meeting was held in Como, Italy, last October. During that meeting, senior government officials, experts, and professionals from the member state and the Secretariat of the Council of Europe discussed the concept note distributed by the Presidency in preparation of the Ministerial Conference, which includes proposals for the debate. My country decided to bring restorative justice to the attention of the member states of the Ministers of Justice in a crucial and particularly fruitful moment for Italy in terms of reforms of the criminal justice system. Last September, the Italian Parliament approved a major reform, including a comprehensive framework on restorative justice, in compliance with the EU Directive of 2012 and the principles internationally established encompassing those of the Council of Europe. The Italian reform attests to a renewed Italy's commitment to fully implement the 2018 Council of Europe recommendation, which encourages member states to adopt the principles of restorative justice and promote restorative justice programs in their national system. Available empirical studies highlight that a criminal justice system which includes restorative justice does not lose in terms of security, and on the contrary, gains in terms of offender responsibility, desistance, and, at least in some studied areas, containment of recidivism. Safety and security and respect of human dignity are concurrent, not opposing goals. Furthermore, research shows that restorative justice programs are particularly appreciated by the people involved, including families and local communities, in front of the dilemma, repair or revenge. In most cases, both victims and offenders choose repair. Mesdames et Messieurs, chers collègues, partant de la convergence entre les résultats de la recherche empirique, l'élaboration scientifique et les recommandations du Conseil de l'Europe ainsi que celles des Nations Unies et de l'Union européenne, la mesure à prendre aujourd'hui et dans un avenir immédiat est une application étendue de la justice restaurative. Plus précisément, nous pensons que les États membres devraient s'engager d'une façon plus régulière à d'abord élaborer des plans d'action nationaux et mettre en œuvre la recommandation du 2018 dans le domaine de la justice des mineurs et des adultes. Deuxièmement, collaborer à des études et des recherches sur les différents modèles de la justice restaurative existants dans les différents pays avec le soutien du secrétariat. Troisièmement, poursuivre l'échange de bonnes pratiques et d'expériences afin de favoriser la formation à la justice restaurative de tous les acteurs concernés et la plus ample sensibilisation culturelle et sociale. J'espère aussi que cette collaboration nous amènera à atteindre dans les délais appropriés les objectifs suivants. l'accessibilité au programme de justice restaurative par toutes les personnes intéressées, dûment informées de cette possibilité. La possibilité de faire de la justice restaurative un droit subjectif. J'aimerais appeler ce droit comme un droit à l'accès à la justice restaurative, l'autre côté du droit d'accès à la justice. Le développement d'une culture de la justice qui respecte et valorise la dignité des personnes, une vaste action de sensibilisation à la mise en place des parcours de formation universitaire adéquats pour les médiateurs, les magistrats, les avocats, la police judiciaire, les opérateurs sociaux. Dear ministers and colleagues, the actions and the objectives I just mentioned are included in the final declaration. The text of this document, Venice Declaration on the Role of Restorative Justice in Criminal Matters, has been already circulated among the delegations in the last weeks. The document reflects the aim of the Conference of Venice. All the requests of amendment have been accommodated so that I wish we will be able to adopt it tomorrow at the conclusion of the conference. Let me finally wish you a good work. I'm eager to listen to all the contributions of the member states and a successful conference. And above all, enjoy Venice, this magic and unique city. Thank you very much.